I'm very happy to have in here some brilliant people that represent different industries. So everyone already knows me. So my name is Joao. I'm the CEO of YunoJuno, and then Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy. I work with Havas. We're a global creative and media communications agency. I'm the senior talent partner, kind of managing all the freelance workforce and sourcing, onboarding, management, timesheets, invoicing, all of that kind of fun stuff.
Hi, my name is Eva Grace, and I work at Grant Thornton. So I've been there for about 8 years, started off doing their perm recruitment, and now I head up their Agile Talent community, so looking after around 1,200 contractors. So that's me. Thank you for having me.
I'm Emma, and I work at Bain and Company, which is a strategy consulting firm, and I look after the operations in EMEA for our growing contingent workforce that we are currently building out.
So very good. So this is great because today we will be speaking about some trends, some topics about the contingent workforce management programs, challenges. So, and we have very relevant people in the panel that have deep expertise in these fields. So I think to start, we will start the conversation around the top level. And it's really about the forward-looking and to try to understand industry insights and emerging trends. And everyone in here probably has already come across some of these topics because there's a lot of AI, skill-based, performance insights, skill management. So it would be good to understand from our panel, how can technology play a role that maximizes business value and efficiencies without losing the human touch between organizations and contractors. So Emma, if you want to start.
Yeah, so we're in Bain in a bit of a transition phase. We've just moved from a traditional MSP model to a tech-forward vendor management system. And I think the reason for that is really to improve all stages of the process, but specifically workforce onboarding, which is something that will help both the hiring manager experience, but also the contractor experience, and bring a lot more efficiencies to our processes as well. So we want to sort of essentially build the tech backbone of our operations to make sure that we're scalable for the future. And the time that we gain back is where we reinvest in our contractors. So we're able to improve their experience, improve our onboarding processes, and make sure that they're integrated really well into the case team. So that's where we want to maintain the human touch. So it's gaining the time back from leveraging tech and then reinvesting that in our people, essentially.
No, that's great. Eva, with the 1,000 contractors, how do you see these trends coming in?
It's a challenge. So I think for us, we touch on all of that, and I think all of it is a focus. But I think kind of currently the two areas that really stand out to me where we're looking to use technology for a little bit more is skill-based organizations. So obviously from a contingent resourcing place, we very much base our recruitment on skills. However, it's kind of how we bring that together with the rest of the business. So our perm teams currently are starting to do a big project around skilling up their workforce, and we are kind of doing similar. We also work quite closely with our member firms, so we bring in resource from India and other countries. So it's really understanding and having that information in one place. So understanding where our skills lie within the permanent community, where the skills are on the contingent community that we have, and then what we need to bring in from other sources. And also with tech being so big and growing out, that we did a survey, and I think for all the mid firms that we survey, there's kind of a quarter report to have very basic digital skills. And we need more kind of data analytics, cybersecurity, and that's not just going to come from recruitment. So it's kind of, if we understand our skill base, how we can retrain, what you were talking about, internal mobility, moving that around. So we need quite good systems to make it visible and quickly to our employees within the firm who are obviously working with clients on a day-to-day basis.
No, thank you. That's quite interesting. So you are seeing a lot the skills management and also the creation of like a more almost like an internal talent marketplace that can be used by the organization.
Yes, definitely. I think people want more and more kind of the skills straight away now. So everything is now because of technology. They're expecting things so quickly. So I think they need that visuals of understanding where their skills is. So kind of creating the graphs, the data that they can see so they're comfortable, because we're very much about pitching to our clients, pitching for work. So if they see that information, they're a lot more comfortable when they go out to the market. So that's our job, so they can make money.
No, very, very good. So thank you. And Amy, so like you have been in the industry, particularly with one of the biggest advertising companies, and like contractors has been and freelancers has been one of the core assets from your organization.
Yeah.
How do you see this impacting?
I think it's kind of similar to what Eva was saying, is that sort of the skills-based management side of things, but we've got quite a good tech stack already in YunoJuno. It's obviously well established across the different Havas networks. So we've got kind of the marketplace set up, the tech set up as well. But from my perspective, what we've kind of been leaning into is the talent analytics and insights piece, and then also kind of like merging that with the internal marketplace. So my team is responsible for all of the sourcing and the partnering with the hiring managers to kind of understand the skill sets that they're lacking on the teams. And then from the insights piece, we can see what kind of trends that we have of how many times have we engaged with motion graphics designers or senior producers across a B2B kind of touch point. We can use that information then to go back to the HR and go back to the hiring managers to say, look, this is where your skill sets, or you're spending more money on skill sets. Is this something that we would consider bringing in-house and kind of building out our perm teams? But then from the internal marketplace side of things is we're constantly going out to market and speaking to brilliant candidates and speaking to brilliant freelancers with those specific skills that our hiring managers are always looking for, because like we've said, when someone needs a freelancer or a contingent worker, they need it now. So if we've already got them onboarded and in our marketplace, we can issue contracts within a day, and we can get them set up and working, especially for if we're building out a skills-based team for a particular client pitch. We've kind of got access to those skills and they're really easily found, and create a great pitch team by the tech that we've already got in place.
Yeah, no, that's great. So some common themes in here, like the skill management, also like speed and the internal talents, and building the capacity to be reactive. I think it's things that are quite key. Then I think like the next question in terms of skills management, Emma, how do you drive adoption internally? Because like skills management, it's quite an interesting topic, but then there's like also the internal management and stakeholders and expectations. How do you, any learnings that you can share?
Yeah. So we always say this internally. We're not only sort of a talent forward team, but we're a change management team. That's really what we're trying to do and achieve. And a lot of it is awareness, and building trust and confidence. One of the things that we really try and do, and it goes back to how we, run our processes. The slicker the process can be, the better the experience will be. And as long as we invest, a lot of time in that, we're hoping for partners to see the real value. And if we're able to say, you need this person on a Monday, and we can guarantee that they're there on Friday, and you're going to have the right person. So it's like an efficiency point of view that really helps build credibility in our offer. And the other is we're starting now to also build out some affiliate programs internally. So the internal marketplace where we have contractors who can do what we need, who are on our books, and we can call on when we might need them. And that also builds trust with partners in general about, the people that they might need, that we've worked with them before, that we've got the right success stories. They know a bit more about how we work. And I think those two things are really important to sort of change, people's opinion about how working with people more flexibly is really like a good thing for the future.
I know, that's great insights. Thank you. Eva, Amy, anything to add?
I think it's just how we kind of get individuals on board. The other thing is, for us, that's quite important because we've done different programs before. It's that collaboration piece and alignment. So working with the business to understand because we've got a number of different business areas. So what are their key skill sets? What are their buckets that we need to work to? And then bringing the permanent teams in board, kind of making sure we're working with the same skill sets and to basically create workforce planning, really. Because I think currently with job titles, etc., I don't know about other organisations, but we will ask the business to do their planning at the start of the year, and they'll say, I need 2 managers, I need 3 this, etc. And after 2 months, it's all out the window. It doesn't really work. Whereas with skills, I think we can really move this forward, but we need the buy-in from the very start, from the business, from the permanent team, and also all our other support teams like the business school, HR, because they're the ones that are going to be retraining and redeveloping these individuals. So the big thing is you need to get everyone aligned from the very start if you're going to start this project.
Very good. Amy?
Yeah, I'd probably kind of echo what you guys have said is, we are working on the skills-based management side of things, and especially when we're trying to workforce plan for the year or the quarter, and we don't want to just be a reactive recruitment team where one person leaves we replace like for like. It's every time someone will leave, we're able to see, okay, well, what were the kind of skill sets that they were able to bring to the team, and then maybe we'll hire in something similar to that, rather than just replace like for like. At the end of the day, we're people working with people. It's not just bums on seats that we're trying to backfill for our clients. We're looking for people with these kind of specific skill sets, and the insights that we're able to glean from the tech that we use will show the dependency on what sort of skill sets that we need, and why are we bringing in, and what periods during the year are we bringing people in for pitches or for Christmas campaigns, or have we just won a fashion client, and do we need people with specific fashion experience to be able to properly sell back to our clients and create good work? So from that, like, we're able to sit down with the hiring managers and say, right, well, what does your next 6 months look like in terms of the work, and what skill sets do you need to be able to put together a brilliant team to do a really great piece of content for, I don't know, Arcadia Group. Bad example, but
so this is amazing. This is like a very good insights, like from organizations that have at core like skill sets management, and even like that there's some challenges on driving adoption. So I think moving to the next area, more deep diving on the contingent workforce program management. Like contingent workforce program managements, like they have like multiple stages, and they have areas that are core. So Amy, starting with you, what of this step is like the most important, and where do you see most challenges and solutions?
Yeah. I think for our team, like I said, I'm one of the lead recruiters within the team. So it would be sourcing, booking and contracts, and then probably like the compliance and classification. So at any given point, we need to know who's available and kind of constantly be engaging with the market to bolster our sourcing needs, to make sure that we are speaking with the right kinds of candidates, and then being able to onboard them very quickly onto YunoJuno, which is seamless most of the time. It's very easy to be able to then send out a contract and have everyone on the same page. Whether we're kind of, I need a designer this afternoon, for example, we can see who's available. Our sourcing is really, really quick, because we've already got the marketplace, or we've got a huge black book of candidates that we can turn to, because we already know what sort of skill sets they've got. So we have that really quick turnaround in terms of sourcing. So that's really important to us. Then on the bookings and contract side, it just means that everyone's on the same page. We all know what is expected of the candidates, of the freelancers. They know what expected of us, making sure that everything is above board, everyone's compliant, we're paying them the right way. The IR35 determinations are done quickly, and accurately, obviously, most of the time. And yeah, it just means that we've got quite a seamless process because everything is already in place for us. All we need to do is just match the great candidate with the project, and then get the booking out the door, and they're ready to start within a few hours if needs be.
Thank you, Amy. And Eva, what about you? Like any kind of big parts in here that you want to call out, or main challenges that you currently have in here?
Again, I think we probably have few, but I'll pick one. I think for us, it's kind of the global worker onboarding. So currently all our consultants are UK, so they need a current right to work in the UK, and that's kind of a killer question for us. So there's two elements here. So number one, the world is becoming smaller, a lot smaller. So our current consultants more and more want to go off and work in Spain for 6 months, or they want to go work in, I don't know, go cruising and do their work out there. So, and I suppose that is the contractor lifestyle. So currently it is a little bit of a painful process. We obviously have very strong tax teams, so and each country has its own tax laws and its own equivalent of IR35. So we are liaising and doing our own kind of consultations to allow our individuals to work globally. And this is where I think kind of tech and more work can be done. And I know, James, you mentioned there's firms out there like Deal and others that are kind of doing more and more work within this space. So that's something we want to do. But also looking at how we can potentially in the future onboard individuals from other countries to our community. So I think I gave an early example where we've got an assignment manager at the moment who's adamant he wants these 6 individuals from Australia onboarded because he's already promised the client, which unfortunately the way we're set up at the moment is not going to happen. So yeah, it's looking how we can better accommodate the business as the world is shrinking. So yeah, that's one of our challenges.
No, thank you. I think like the distributed workforces, it's a big challenge, and particularly even from like a seamless experience. Yeah. Emma, you managing also like some global program and managing this in-house. What's important for you in here?
Yeah, I think the global piece is also huge for us. I mean, I think of EMEA and my team, we cover the whole region, but we also are live in APAC and North America. And like you say, you know, when someone asks us for somebody on the ground in Riyadh, you know, we are actually able to deliver that and really quite quickly, given the measures that we have in place. But I also think the second thing is the supplier management piece. So the majority of our internal business is sourced by vendors. We now have a VMS system, which is essentially a way to streamline working with those people. When we were working with an MSP legacy system, we actually had some suppliers who said, well, we don't want to work with you because, you know, we don't want to work in an MSP model. And now we've moved to a VMS. We've actually opened up the talent marketplace even more for our clients. So we can serve more global requests and we can be much more agile in our delivery. So I think those are the 2 key things where we can deliver that really amazing end-to-end experience for internal, you know, partners who are our clients essentially.
No, very, very good. So I think now I would like, we touched already on this, on the compliance and risk management on distributed workforce. So starting with you, Amy, like what measures do you have in place, and like what are the risks associated that you see with contractors? Because when we look at the risks, there's like compliance, tax, like we talk about data protection, tax, employment law. There's this multiple dimensions of risks. How do you manage this today?
I think obviously engaging any kind of contractor or contingent worker, there's always going to be risks in a multitude of areas. As a freelance recruiter, then IR35, everyone's favourite topic, is probably the biggest one. We utilise Kingsbridge via YunoJuno, so the 2 systems are able to kind of talk to each other, and we will use the IR35 assessment tool on Kingsbridge, which will pull directly back through to YunoJuno and assist and like send the contract with the assessments directly to the contractor, which is super easy. But we will use the Kingsbridge tool to assess everything. I think one of the main things that we do, it's kind of like off the tech side, is just being a really good partner to our hiring managers and instructing them on how and when to use freelancers on a specific project, how to engage with them on an employer level. Not having the same person on 9,000 accounts that they're Monday to Friday, have to be in the office, have to be on the Havas laptop. At the end of the day, they're not employees. They are businesses that we are engaging with for a specific skill set. I'm just making sure that the hiring managers are aware of how to work with someone in that kind of capacity. But the IR35 assessment is quite handy in that regard. We make sure that we are hiring people on specific contracts for specific projects with specific statements of work, so that there is no kind of blurred lines of, well, if a hiring manager is asking me to do an extra bit of work, they do have the right to say, like, no, look, it's not in my contract, or yes, but I'll do it next week when I've got more time, or yes, but please give me another contract, so that we can have that defined statement. In terms of like data protection or intellectual property or NDAs for pitch work, we have us NDAs and stuff that we can send them, and I think we're covered under the YunoJuno terms for some bits that they can't steal our pitch ideas. So
No, thank you, Amy. And have any best practices or like mechanisms that you have in place to navigate this challenge?
Yeah, well, we have quite a lot of regulation because we're an accountancy firm, so we kind of have to lead from the front, so we can't really afford to make mistakes. But we don't help ourselves because we offer, which is good for the consultants, but we offer, they can onboard with us via PSC, inside, outside. They can come for an umbrella, they can come as a dependent worker, which is great for the consultant, so the attraction is really strong. But it means there's a lot of compliance because each one of those strands has their own legislation. So dependent worker, you've got Brazil. With umbrella workers, you've got AWR. With PSCs, you've got IR35. So there's a lot of compliance to manage. So I think the tip is we do have a small compliance team that we work with. We've got very good systems. We've got our own IR35 tool that our tax teams have developed. But I think, again, for us, it's collaboration with our HR teams, with our employer relations teams, with the experts, I suppose, the legal guys, so we know what's coming. So currently there's an umbrella consultation taking place, so we're already ahead of the curve, and we've inputted into the umbrella consultation, and some of the findings are coming out now, so we're working with them to implement some of that. So I think it's just being ahead of the curve and not letting yourself be caught out is the key thing.
Thank you, Eva. And Emma, like from your perspective, like any particular point that calls out to you and that you would like to share some insights?
I think we've spent a long time, or the building an understanding of local labour laws and making sure that we are operating compliantly. Like I said, we're very global, so when we're being requested to onboard people in Saudi, we do need to make sure we're compliant there, as well as with IR35 in the UK. And the way we've done that is not only sort of an internal compliance team, but also leveraging what already exists at Bain. We have very strong risk management teams and local legal counsel. And what that has allowed us to do is also understand the contingent workforce more holistically, which means we can now use the RTN framework, the Results Talent Network framework, to assess other areas of the business that might be leveraging the contingent workforce, but potentially not always compliantly. And how can we, bring those people under the right classifications? How can we review contracts and share knowledge and essentially, build the contingent workforce in a more systematic way? So it's been, sort of leveraging and coming together internally to build a team that actually now can assess and mitigate risk across the business.
No, that's very good. So I think like one common theme in here is that like planning and like staying ahead of the game and sharing knowledge. It's very, very good, and also like working with right tech and also with right partners there. So one final question, and this is picking up on what Emma shared around like vendor management, because that's big part sometimes of like the challenges around the contingent workforce is how you integrate seamless external staffing agencies or vendors. So Emma, like since you picked up that before, do you want to share some insights in here?
Yeah, so I think it's quite simple, but essentially we just make sure that we have really strong processes in place that are the same for every vendor we work with in every geography. It means that the experience for the internal hiring manager, for the vendor and for the contractor, should be pretty identical across the globe. And it also allows us to be consistent in timeframes. We have very well established SLAs in terms of delivery and when we expect things, and also just how to communicate. And I think actually getting rid of the MSP model and now leveraging a VMS has alleviated about 1,000 emails from my inbox, which is huge. And we can now essentially, communicate via a platform, review candidates on a platform. Used to receive all CVs via email, and that was just the end of last year. So we've really come a long way. And I think that, just having best practices in terms of ways of working and SLAs is really the key here to our vendor relationships.
Now that's a massive efficiency saving there. So Eva, any best practice that or insights that you want to share in here?
I think with regards to staffing agencies, it's not so much of an issue because we do all our recruitment direct. So we've got a team of in-house recruiters that recruit our contingent workforce, and we've done a big push on pushing the numbers down to, I think it's about 13% that we use recruitment agencies. So for us, it's, I suppose, more the journey. So that's kind of where our tech partners really come in to ensure that journey of their application, of how we access that data is really sleek. And it's all about, I suppose, consultant experience and candidate experience. So it's just making sure that all our systems talk to each other, because contractors are the same as our clients. They want everything right now, best experience, and most of them are very techie as well. So so they expect quite a strong service. So for us, it's just making sure that all our tech systems are talking to each other so we can provide the best possible service for our consultants, which is key.
Thank you, Eva. Amy,
I'd probably
thoughts.
I'd probably echo exactly what you've just said about is we manage most of our recruitment directly ourselves, and I think we've managed to get from a 60-40 direct recruitment model to about 95% direct over the last 2 years. So my team is busy, but yeah, I think if and when we do go to agencies, there is a really easy sign-up process for them to be able to supply candidates to us. I know YunoJuno also offers, we don't actually do it ourselves, but YunoJuno also offers ways for the recruitment agencies to submit CVs through the platform for review, which is really handy because then you can track ownership of when you stop paying the recruitment fees. And I know we've saved quite a lot of money on the automatic recruitment fees that tend to just build up and up and up if you don't keep an eye on them. Whereas we've got like a 9-month cutoff of when we'll stop paying for that recruitment fee. So that's kind of really handy from a business perspective and an operational efficiency, saving money side of things. Because, we've had freelancers who have worked with us on numerous occasions for about a year and a half. And it just means that we're not accidentally still paying that recruitment fee if finance have overlooked it. It's automatically taken off. So that's quite handy for our side of things. On the vendors and the contractor side, my team is constantly going out to market, like I said a while ago, and engaging with new freelancers and skilled workers. And if they're not already on the system that we want to engage them in a booking, we just send them a quick little invite from the system. They get set up and we've got a contract out in no time. So it just means then that the compliance side of things is set up. Something that I'm always really conscious of when working with freelancers or contingent workers is that they've worked with so many different clients. So Havas and a load of other kind of agencies or whatever across London. every single person or every single agency is going to have their own onboarding experience and their own tech stack for the freelancer to sign up, or how they do their timesheets. And, you know, they're managing a million different tech stacks. So I want something that's quite easy, something that I can still have a conversation with them. There's someone at the end of the line, they've got my number, they've got my email, but I can also have an actual conversation with them quite easily through the platform as well. So if there is any issues, they're like, I still have a direct line to the freelancers to build that sort of personal relationship with, because we want to be able to build that trust and create that kind of good candidate experience that, you know, they want to work for Havas, they want to do good work with us, and we want to be able to depend on them. Say, Brian, I need a designer now, like, are you free? You know, and they'll say yes, fingers crossed. So, you know, making sure that it is an easy process for us as the client and them as the vendor is really important to me, to make sure it's a good candidate experience overall.
Thank you, Amy. So I think we have come to an end of the panel, and it's a very, very interesting insights shared by everyone. So a round of applause for our panelists.